Hey, Dr. Coconut. I'll be taking note today, so if you say this needs to be changed or something, I'll take note since I'm literally rewriting a lot of things. Alright. I'll see. Probably go for 2 hours or so. I dabbled back in Helldivers 2 again. I don't know if I'm going to be hooked or not. I've been taking it like really easy with the difficulty. It's kind of chill. Hey Corn. Hey Mandy. Bots, squids, or bugs. I went for the squids because that's where the objective is for the moment. And I put it on level 2 because I play solo and I'm not that good. I'm gonna have to juggle Helldivers 2. I have to juggle Starship Troopers. I have to juggle Exoprime. I got all these like horde shooters to play. Me going with my revolver to a level 10 bot mission. I don't like the bots, I'll be honest. I feel like they were way too tanky. Yeah, I saw the last stream picked up for no reason. Maybe because they're there for the classic Porku crash out. But yeah, I took a break yesterday. For bots, you need penetration, and hard hitters. For squids, you need crowd control. Yeah, I haven't seen like the zombie kind of people in level 2. I think once you bump it up a few more, they start popping up. Because it's, like I said, it's been pretty chill. I think I got killed once because I got swarmed by the stupid drone people. They came out of nowhere, and then they blew up the explosive next to me, and I died. If the writer is taking notes, can we get a secret ending with Truck-kun? I don't think there was trucks back then. Well, it is a movie. I kind of wish I didn't get spoiled on that. I wish I saved the bonus scenes for last. Because now I can't get invested knowing it's just a movie, you know? For democracy. Now maybe tomorrow we'll do a variety stream with the horde shooters. We'll do like an hour of each. I'll probably save Helldivers 2 for the middle. That way people like get into the stream and it, because I know most of the chat here probably has Helldivers 2. I know no one's probably got Starship Troopers or Exoprimals, so yeah. Anyway, I'll be on Visual Studio changing things with your audio in the background in case you say something that needs to be changed. Alright. I'm gonna take one more drink and then we'll hop to it. Alright. Is this still registered? Probably. Okay, it is. We have all downloaded the Fat Divers mod for Helldivers. We're not pyrocynical, dude. Alright. Where did we leave off? Oh boy. Was it 3? Or is it the... I think it... Wait, it's dated. So I'm assuming... That'd be this one, then. Let me back up. Oh yeah, we were washing someone's clothes. Or no, what's her face came back with the bucket. It was Eris. So yeah. Skip zoom? Yeah, zoom. Oh yeah, then the threat, we have to get the bottle of wine or something, or that it's either the wine or the gold. Oh, here we go. New text. Oh, I should probably have the guide up too. Hold on. Let me get a guide. I think I downloaded it somewhere. Is it the official guide? Yeah, it is. Okay. Even after lunch, I'm still feeling empty. My hands continued to work systematically even after kneading the dough with the chef. Like a weight tugging at my chest, it persisted. I was unable to remain motionless and kept thinking about Eris. Her words, her embrace, and her abrupt departure. I had to find her. In hopes that she will still be there once more, looking blankly at the sea as she claimed to frequently do, I make my way near the ship's paddles. However, the place is empty when I get there, not even a red scale to be seen. Where might she be? The rhythmic churning of the paddles has resumed, but it offers no answers. We embarrassed Eris by calling her beautiful, if I remember correctly. Probably. I started to go around the ship, exploring the decks, taking a quick look at the saloon, the cargo area, and even the restrooms. Oh no. Man coming through. I'm not particularly proud of it. Every step feels more difficult, and every vacant corner and strange face I come across makes me more frustrated. I'm becoming impatient by the time I've gone around half the ship. No, it's Vert, or was it Vert? At last, I see a crewman. A dragon stands next to the engine room entrance, resting idly on the frame. Two incredible bull-like horns curl back from his head, and his rich orange scales gleam softly in the dark light, making him difficult to notice. The sharpness of his face is not softened by his short, slightly disheveled hair, yet there's a laid-back, even careless vibe to the way he's simply chilling there. He appears to be carefree, with his arms folded and his legs out. Excuse me. I forget what kind of voice I gave him. I'm just gonna get silly with it. The dragon's emerald eyes meet mine as he raises his head. He pauses before continuing, speaking in a cool, collected tone. Yes, can I help you? I gently adjust my weight as I sense how intent his eyes are. Have you seen a tall red dragoness? Big, tall, kind of hard to miss? He seems to think about my inquiry as he tilts his head slightly, his horns catching the dim light. I have not too long ago. I feel a brief wave of relief before his next words strike me like a ton of bricks. She was in tears. Tears, my heart tightens. Do you know where she went? He takes a while to respond. Instead, he crosses his arms and shifts his weight as he closely examines me. Maybe, but I need to know why she was crying before I tell you. I'm taken aback by the inquiry and falter as I try to find the correct words. I think she's been holding a lot in. She told me something personal earlier, something that's clearly been weighing on her for a long time. Maybe it all just came to a head. The orange dragon gently adjusts his posture and looks away as though my explanation isn't very interesting. He dismissively waves a hand and shrugs half-heartedly. Yeah, sure, look, if you're looking for her, she was down by the cargo area just a second ago. Maybe she just got there now. I blink, caught off guard by his indifferent tone. His words sink in, though, and I start to piece things together. I'd checked the cargo area earlier, but if she just arrived there... Thanks, I say, already turning towards the direction of the cargo hold. Wait. The dragon calls after me, though his voice carries no urgency. I glance back, catching him scratching the back of his head lazily. Name's Vert, he says plainly, his piercing green eyes briefly locking with mine before averting his gaze once again. I thought you should know who helped you, since you're so eager to find her. Got it. Thanks, Vert. I reply, giving him a quick nod before heading towards the cargo area, my thoughts racing. If Eris was there, I had to find her and make sure she was okay. The smell of wood and sea salt greets me as I walk inside the cargo area. The room feels colder than normal because of the dark lighting, but before I can fully appreciate my surroundings, I hear someone shouting at me from the other side of the room. Is it Max? Yeah, called it. Oh no, and now she's avoiding us. Hey, mate! I turn to face the source. I find Max resting against a box with her tail slightly extended. Even in the low light, her sharp dragon-like features are clearly visible. What are you doing roaming around the cargo hold? You should be up in the wheelhouse or something, right? Free day, also there's no time to explain. I'm trying to find a red dragoness. Have you had a chance to see her? Max raises one eyebrow and tilts her head. A red dragoness? Oh, you mean the tall one, right? I saw her. She's just around the corner over there. She's crying. She points to a little corridor that runs between boxes. Her words fill me with relief, but Max stretches and yawns before I can express my gratitude. Well, I'll leave you to it, because I'm going to get lunch. I wish you luck with whatever you're going to do. As she makes her way upstairs, she casually waves at me over her shoulder. I inhale deeply and brace myself as I get closer to the corner she pointed. My heart races. This could be my chance to see how Eris is doing at last. Oh, hey, it's the thumbnail. Hi, thumbnail. My footsteps are light on the cargo hold's hardwood floor as I approach the place Max indicated with caution. My heart thuds from worry and eagerness. I turn the corner and see Eris seated on the floor with a stack of crates pressing against her back. Her flaming red scales gleam dimly in the low light as her head is buried in her hands. Her voice echoes forcefully, halting me in my tracks before I can even go closer. Go away! Oh wait, that's not Max. Whoops. Go away! The power of her words makes me freeze, in an attempt to reduce the tension in the air by... Okay, where does the guide say? Staying where I am. Okay, thank you, guide. Put guide away. I halt abruptly, my throat tightens as I... Oh, wait. Is that plus or minus? Fuck, I wasn't looking. Yeah, that's a plus. Some of them are sometimes minus, and you don't pay attention to it. I was looking at it earlier. Earlier in the week. I halt abruptly, my throat tightens as I attempt to interpret her face. She glares at me for a moment longer before her gaze softens, her shoulders slumping. I'm ugly. I'm not worthy of being seen, especially by you. Her remarks were like a kick to the stomach. I can't believe what I'm hearing. So I look at her. Eris. Don't try to argue. I know what I am. I'm too big, too awkward, and apparently I scare everyone off. I can't. She stops mid-sentence, biting her lip as tears threaten to spill over. I hesitantly move ahead while maintaining a composed tone of speech. Eris, you're not ugly, not even close. I don't know who made you feel like this, but they were wrong. She refuses to look at me and gives me a forceful head shake. You don't understand. You're just saying that because you feel bad for me. That's all anyone ever does. Pity the giant dragoness who doesn't fit in anywhere. I take another step closer and declare firmly, I'm not pitying you, Eris. I mean it. You're strong, you're smart, and you've got this fire in you that no one else has. Just so you know, I think you're gorgeous. Not only externally, but within as well. Her breath hitches, and she stares at me wide-eyed, as if she doesn't know how to respond. For a moment, it feels like the entire ship has gone silent, the air between us heavy with unspoken emotions. There's the AI. Eris slowly stands up, and I have to cock my head back to look into her eyes because of how tall she is. Her crimson eyes meet mine, probing and seeking as though she's attempting to find a secret meaning underneath what I've spoken. With a shaky and quiet voice, she says, "Do you really mean that?" That's not the angry, defensive tone she used earlier. This time, it's raw and vulnerable, like she's hanging on to my answer as if it's the only thing keeping her grounded. I nod without hesitation. Every word. Her face changes in a couple of seconds, displaying uncertainty, skepticism, and hope. She approaches with an enormous presence, but her movements are gentle, as if she's worried about ruining the moment. You're not just saying that to make me feel better, because if you are, I don't think I can handle it. I keep my eyes fixed on her. I wouldn't lie to you, Eris. You deserve the truth, and the truth is, you're amazing. I don't care what anyone else says or thinks. I know what I see. Her mouth opens slightly, but she doesn't say anything. Rather, she looks at me with unshed tears sparkling in her eyes. She moves forward once again, becoming near enough for me to feel the heat coming from her scales. I've never had anyone say that to me before. Not like that. Not like you mean it. I do, and I'll keep saying it until you believe it yourself. She just stands there for a while, towering over me, her breath erratic, and suddenly she reaches out, her big hands hovering close to my shoulders, quivering a little. She seems uncertain about whether to hug me or turn away. I reach up and grab her hands in mine without hesitation, wrapping them as tightly as I can. I can feel her hands quivering slightly as I hold them together, warm, almost heated against my skin. Eris's countenance softens when she blinks in surprise. Tears start to fall down her cheeks once again as a hesitant, unsure grin pulls at her lips. But they're different this time. With a little crack in her voice, she murmurs, Thank you so much." Her smile grows, and for the first time since I found her here, it feels like a weight has been lifted from her shoulders. She looks at me like she's trying to memorize my face, as if this moment is something she wants to hold on to forever. I don't even know what to say. No one's ever said anything like that to me before. Not genuinely, not in a way that made me feel worth it. I take her hands and squeeze them reassuringly. You don't have to say anything, Eris. Just know that it's true. Every word. She nods, lowering her head slightly as though to conceal her face while biting her lip to contain a sob. However, the warmth that permeates the space between us and the joy coming from her now is undeniable. I don't deserve someone like you. You deserve so much more than you think, Eris. And it's about time you started seeing that. She bursts into faint, unsteady, but mistakably real laughing. With one hand still gripping me, she sniffs and uses the back of the other to wipe her tears away. You're really something else, you know that? I've been told. Eris lets out a long sigh, her shoulders drooping a little as the storm of feelings starts to fade. She laughs quietly as she wipes her face one more time. I need a nap. Too many emotions for one day. I'm completely drained. I don't blame you. You've been through a lot. She gives me a half smile as she tilts her head. I'll be fine after some rest, but promise me something. Hmm? She puts her hand on her hips and straightens up. Promise you'll wait for me by the paddles. I want to sit with you there later, not running off to some other part of the ship. I promise, I'll be there, but first I need to finish a pizza with the chef. You know, priorities. Her red eyes enlarge with a faint outrage. A pizza, and you didn't consider inviting me? It's not done yet, but if you're hungry after your nap, I'll save you a slice. Maybe two if you ask nicely. You better actually wait for me. If I get to the paddles and you're not there... I watch her leave as she continues ranting. I'll be there. Anyway, time to make that pizza. Time to skip! Am I late? A little bit. Those are the eyes of a Redditor. Oh no. Alright, we skipping. Alright, oh, we got new dialogue with Victoria. Yeah, I guess you're right. You have to go back to work now, right? Indeed, my arms feel weak after washing all those clothes. Good luck then, young man. With that, I leave the saloon while Lady Victoria sits at the table. Excuse me, Sir Chef, could you prepare me a cup of tea? No, still new. Neela's voice welcomes me as soon as I enter the wheelhouse. With a tone of astonishment, she says, I didn't expect to see you here. I stop in my tracks, confused. What do you mean? It's my shift. With a little sly smirk, Neela tosses her head as her tail waggles casually behind her. I was going to wait for you until after lunch. Guess I didn't need to. Her remark surprises me. I didn't think she would wait for me, much less bring it up casually, but here she is, as usual, making fun of me. By the way, Lady Victoria has your clothes. Your cabin was locked when we tried to leave them off. I say, feeling a bit uncomfortable as I scratch the back of my neck. Neela's tail flicks once behind her as she raises an eyebrow. Of course it was locked. My room's always closed. I blinked, taken aback by how quickly she responded. Why? She crosses her arms and leans indifferently against the helm. Because I have the sailor's payment in there. Can't exactly leave that lying around for anyone to grab. Fair enough. Next time let me know so you can return my clothes to me. You don't have to go via someone that important. I shake my head after nodding. Noted. I had no idea your room was a bank. She gives me a friendly swat with her tail for that, and she smiles as she returns to the helm. It is what it needs to be. Well, still new dialogue. An hour goes by without incident, the ship feeling almost tranquil due to the ship's steady pace and the placid seas. Neela sighs quietly as she raises her arm above her head as the clock approaches noon. Neela turns to face me and says, I'm taking a break, and you should too, since you've washed everyone's clothes this morning. She fixes her gaze with a look that says she won't take no for an answer. I can hold things down here. She smirks and shakes her head. Someone will cover for us. Talk to the engineer by going down to the boiler room. Inform him that he and his brother must take over for a while. They aren't very busy at the moment. The engineer? I haven't met him yet. What is he like? Halfway out, she leans against the doorway and flicks her tail. You'll see. He's practical. Just tell him I sent you, and they'll handle it. Still feeling a bit unsure, I nod. Good. Don't let them talk their way out of it. I'm starving, and lunch tastes better with company. Unless you want to go rest somewhere else, I don't mind. I'm left alone in the wheelhouse as she leaves. With a resigned sigh, I head down to the boiler room, curious to see this engineer I haven't seen will treat me. Nope, new dialogue still. Gold digger route. That's the last one. I guess we should add more eyes to Neela. Are you gonna make her like have 4 eyes? 6 eyes? And maybe some wing poses. Washing Maiden's clothes now? I guess so. Anyways. I enter the common area just before I go to the boiler room. To my surprise, I notice Vert chilling in the exact location where we first met. Hey, Vert. He gives me a quick glance while maintaining his customary guarded manner. You were down here early. Right, sorry, I'm in a rush. I'm looking for the ship's engineer. I blurt out as his comment brings me back to reality. Vert briefly averts his gaze as though he were discussing something. I observe that there has been a pause long enough to raise an eyebrow. Do you know where I could find him? He finally sighs and responds. Unfortunately, yes. However, as it is his break time, he might not be available this moment. His tone throws me off a little, and I blink. Neela sent me. She said I needed to find the engineer and his brother so they could take over the wheel for a while. Bert's normally restrained demeanor breaks into displeasure as he grunts and straightens up at this point. For fuck's sakes, Neela! I glance at him in confusion, but he stares right at me and shakes his head, with a harsh, irritated voice. I'm the engineer, and I'm going to assume you left the wheel unattended. I raise my hands in defense. That's exactly why I came in a rush. Someone needs to cover for us. Vert rubs his temples and lets out another frustrated groan. Unbelievable. All right, fine. I'll get orange. Just next time, don't leave the helm without making sure someone's there. Feeling a little guilty, I nod quickly. Noted. He grumbles as he enters the boiler room, obviously unhappy that his break's been cut short, but at least things are getting better. I stand there for a while, not knowing what to do with myself, as Vert stomps off to get his brother. I don't like the idea of taking a break, at least not for very long. I don't want to keep Neela hanging any longer than absolutely necessary because the wheelhouse is waiting. However, I should at least make the most of my time if I'm going to take it. What could I do that's quick but still worth the effort? With a small nod to myself, I make my way towards the paddles. Oh boy. Watch where you're going, mate. You nearly tripped me. Sorry, I wasn't looking ahead. I'm in a bit of a rush. He folds his arms, tail flickering once against the floorboards, studying me for a moment longer than feels comfortable. Then slowly, one brow rises, and the corner of his mouth curves into a smirk. A rush, huh? All right, I won't ask. He steps aside, giving me enough space to pass. I'm already moving again when his voice follows me down the hall. Name's Orange, by the way. I glance over my shoulder. He's still smirking, hands in his pockets like nothing happened. I nod once, more confused by the name than the meeting itself, and keep walking. The steady, almost mesmerizing sound of the water being churned by the enormous wheels fills the air as I go close to the paddles. I see Eris leaning on the railing close by, but her stance seems strange right away. She's a little slouched, and her often vivacious manner has vanished. Eris? Her face appears nearly green, and her scales are pallid as she looks up at me. She manages a little grin and says, Hey. I step closer, frowning. You don't look so good. What's wrong? She holds her stomach while groaning quietly. Breakfast didn't settle well. I think something was off. Or maybe I just ate too much too fast. Either way, my stomach's a mess. Do you need me to get you something? Water? Tea? Anything? With a weary yet graceful face, she shakes her head. No thanks, I'll be fine. Just keep me company for a bit, yeah? It helps take my mind off of it. Next to her, I lean against the railing and nod. Alright, I can do that. Just let me know if you change your mind. She responds with a little humming of gratitude, and we spend some peaceful time together as the sound of the paddles and the soft splashing of water fills the air between us. Eris lets out another little grunt and shifts slightly, leaning heavily on the railing. After a time, she adds softly, You know what? I guess I'm going to accept your offer. In fact, a cup of tea would be helpful. I'm happy she's letting me help her, so I nod. Alright, let's get to the saloon and I'll get you something warm then. Without giving it any thought, I grab her hand and pull her away from the edge. Her scales are smooth yet somewhat damp, and her hand feels chilly in mine. It's not until I look at her and see the shocked expression on her face that I understand what I've done. Her pale greenish-red face brightens slightly, and what may be a flush, although it may just be the light, as she blinks at her hands. In any case, she doesn't comment, allowing me to take her hand and gently nudge her in the direction of the hallway that leads to the saloon. I briefly consider saying I'm sorry or letting go, but she doesn't back down, so I decide to keep quiet and concentrate on making sure she gets there without becoming any worse. As soon as we pass between the walls, a cool wind greets us as we walk to the deck. The chilly air seems to be helping Eris appear a little better immediately, although she's still obviously not at her best. The fact that Porku plays the part of the other characters too makes it that much better, okay? Wait, don't need to give detailed descriptions of her expression. You have the art do that. I didn't have the art when I wrote it. Oof. She sighs quietly and sits down at one of the benches by the railing when I lead her there. She gradually releases my hand as she calms down, her fingers remaining on it for a fraction of a second longer than is required. I reflexively draw my hand back, and she pouts a little. Her expression is almost infantile for a moment before she turns away. Alright, you stay here and take a short break. I'll go get you a tea at the saloon. She tilts her head to look at me. You're not going to stay? I shake my head and point to the saloon's entrance. It's probably packed in there right now with everyone grabbing lunch. It'll be more comfortable out here in the fresh air than stuck in a noisy room. I'll be quick, I promise. After a little pause, she leans back against the bench and nods. Fine, but don't take too long, all right? Deal, just stay put and relax. With that, I turn and head towards the saloon, leaving her on deck with the breeze and the soft sound of the ship cutting through the water to keep her company. The saloon is as full as I anticipated when I walked in. The aromas of freshly baked bread, roasted pork, and whatever hearty stew is being served today are all mixed together and fill the air. There's not enough room to move among the throng of travelers waiting for their meal, and there's nowhere to sit and loiter. I skillfully weave my way through the crowds and go straight to the front of the line, attracting a few annoyed looks from the individuals in line. Ignoring them, I make my way to the end of the counter where the chef is frantically serving meals and directing passengers to step aside as they do so. He sees me almost instantly. Giovanito! He yells, his thick accent. Oh no, I'm gonna act. His thick accent clearly audible. Why do you look so worried, eh? You forget to eat breakfast again? I shake my head and swiftly respond. No, it's not me. My friend is feeling ill, so I need to get her a cup of tea outdoors. She suspects it started after breakfast. The chef's brow furrows as his face becomes a little harder. Sick from my breakfast? I do not serve bad food, Giovanado. It's not like that, no. I defend myself by raising my hands. She said she probably ate too fast or something. She doesn't think the food was bad, I swear. He still has a somewhat irritated look, but he gradually relaxes, grabbing a cup of tea from a tray behind him, which had been poured but unclaimed. He sighs. Here, take this to your friend. Also, you should return later to get your lunch. He gestures to me with the ladle he's holding and says, You work hard, you need to eat. I grin, appreciating his comprehension. Thanks, sir. I'll be back when she's feeling better. He dismisses me with a gesture, already moving on the next dish, and I cautiously return through the packed salon. Oh no, I'm losing it. The packed saloon, holding onto the cup of tea as though it were a priceless gem. Give me my drink. Alright. Eris is still seated on the bench while I return to the deck, the air cooling my cheeks. Her pale skin hasn't completely gone away, but she does appear a little better than she did before. Her posture is less slouched, and her eyes have a little more vitality. She looks up at me and arches an eyebrow as I get closer. With that recognizable humorous edge in her voice, she goes on to say, Took you long enough. I let out an exaggerated sigh, placing a hand on my hip. Oh, your majesty, I apologize. I had to go to the closest river to get fresh water after growing the tea leaves myself. All to make sure it was ideal for you, you know. Although she rolls her eyes, her delight is evident from the tiny smile that is beginning to appear on her face. She grabs the cup out of my hands and jokes. You're such a martyr. She raises the cup near, the steam rising softly as she inhales the aroma. Her fingers briefly brushing mine. She leans back against the bench and murmurs, Thanks. I listen to the gentle clink of the teacup as Eris takes another drink, as I rest against the railing and gaze at the horizon. For a little period of time, the silence between us feels serene, but suddenly I sense something coiling around my ankle. Her tail suddenly tugs, knocking me off balance before I can respond. I stagger a little backwards and settle down next to her on the bench. Eris puts the cup of tea down on her lap for a bit and smirks. What, you look too comfortable over there. I thought I'd make things more interesting. You know, you could have just asked me to sit down. She shrugs playfully and takes another drink of her tea. Where's the fun in that? Despite rolling my eyes, I take a seat next to her. You're unbelievable. She looks at me out of the corner of her eye and chuckles quietly. You're welcome to leave if you don't like it. I cross my arms and sigh. Yeah, I think I'll stay. Someone's got to make sure you finish that tea and don't keel over. The sound of the ship gliding over the waves fills the air as the seconds go by. Eris leans closer till her shoulder almost touches mine as she moves a little. At first, she remains silent, her gaze fixed on the teacup she is holding. Her tail, still loosely coiled around my ankle, tightens ever so slightly, as if anchoring herself in place. Do you really think I'm pretty? The question catches me off guard. I blink. Glancing at her, she's not looking at me. Her gaze is locked on the rippling surface of the tea. Her expression uncharacteristically vulnerable. For a moment, I don't know how to respond. The Eris I know is playful, quick-witted, and confident. Seeing her like this, so hesitant, feels different. I softly respond, my voice calm but sincere. If I didn't mean it, I wouldn't have said it. Her reddish face flushes with the tiniest tinge of color as she gives me a quick glance. She takes another drink of her tea to conceal the tiny smile that curls her lips. Thanks. I recline on the bench, allowing her some room, yet keeping my shoulder near enough to let her know I'm there. Anytime. Eris slowly restores the color of her face as she takes another sip of her tea. She pauses, then reclines on the bench and lets out a gentle sigh. You really shouldn't stay here any longer. Why not? She gives me a knowing glance as she turns her head. Because you're working. You're probably already running late, and I don't want to be the reason the ship crashes into something. We're not crashing into anything, but you're right. I should get back before anyone starts asking questions. With a little smile, Eris places the now empty teacup next to her. All right, go ahead and do what you need to do. I'll be fine now. Her tail flicks languidly at her side as she pauses for a time. And when your shift is over, I'll be waiting for you. Waiting for me? You know where to find me, she says as she leans back and looks away, her hair slightly tousled by the breeze. I stand up, brushing myself off and giving her one last look. All right, I'll hold you to that. With a cheeky smile on her lips, Eris says, If I didn't mean it, I wouldn't say it. I return the smile and turn to face the wheelhouse. I can't resist taking one more look behind me as I go. Her tail is swaying softly as the sea wind moves her hair, and she's already comfortable reclining back on the bench. Is this a drinking stream now? What are we drinking? I'm drinking the fiber supplement. I just finished it, so now I should probably be grabbing more water because this water's almost out. Let's take a break real quick. I'm gonna go grab another water. Alright, I'm back. Eris, you're ready to fucking razzle dazzle. Fiber, nah, just drink a protein energy drink or something. Too much protein makes me run to the bathroom. That's not the kind of fiber I need. Alright. I hear a quiet drawing voice behind me as I make my way. Oh, is this the one guy? Oh, I don't know. As I make my way back to the wheelhouse. Yeah, it is the rich guy. Alright. Well. My jaw clenches as I automatically flinch at the sound. I'm aware of who it is before I even look back. I inhale deeply and look up at him. What do you want? I snap, not bothering to hide the irritation in my voice. Smug as ever, the rich guy stands a few steps away with his hands neatly clenched behind his back. That angry grin is fixed on his face, and his immaculately shined shoes sparkle in the sunshine. His tone is informal, but brimming with disdain as he starts. Oh, nothing much. I happened to listen in on your brief chat with that dragoness on deck. My eyes narrow, my patience already wearing thin. And? He lets out a mock sigh, shaking his head as if I've disappointed him. You really shouldn't manipulate ladies like that. Manipulate? What the hell are you talking about? I repeat, my tone rising in anger, sparks in my chest. As he approaches and lowers his voice as though imparting some profound advice, the smirk widens. He speaks slowly and deliberately as he states, Dragonesses like her aren't beautiful. Their scales are too thick, their tails are too long, and their bodies are too massive. Honestly, they're just a disgusting sight for any self-respecting male dragon. The word struck me like a slap. Not because they are true, but rather because of the sheer boldness of their expression. It takes all of my might not to throw myself at him at that moment, and my hands tighten at my sides. You don't know a damn thing. You also have no right to speak negatively about her or anyone else. Clearly amused by my response, he raises an eyebrow. Oh please, I'm only giving you some guidance. A guy of your status ought to be pickier about who he associates with. I move forward and give him a stare that's hard enough to cut. Even though I'm furious, I say, let me make one thing clear. You have no right to disparage her, and you most definitely have no right to dictate me on who I can and cannot spend my time with. The rich guy's face contorts in outrage as his grin falters for the first time. As he approaches, he raises his voice a little and yells, No one speaks to me that way! You think you're clever, don't you? Acting like some knight in shining armor. Well, let's see how clever you are when I tell your precious dragoness about your little manipulation tactics. I blink, his words seeming almost comical in their desperation. Go ahead, she wouldn't believe a word out of your mouth. Oh, but she will. You see, she's my daughter. Watch. No? No, probably not, because, well, who knows? Multiple routes change lores, I guess. I don't know. That'd be crazy, having a VN where, like, multiple routes change lores at, like, just a drop of a hat. That'd be crazy. His sneering returning, this time more savage and piercing. Particularly when I explain to her what you've been doing in detail. Someone with her level of sensitivity, it won't require much, just a few well-chosen remarks on her look. His implication makes my stomach churn, and I become even more enraged. I growl and go closer, my voice hot enough to make him pause for a moment. You wouldn't dare. Wouldn't I? I have a gift for your persuasion, you see. And someone like her, I doubt she hasn't heard the same things before, regarding her size, tail, and scales. She will begin to question everything if she's been given a small reminder of what other people believe, including you. The idea of his poisoning her psyche makes my fist clench and my chest tense. I say in a dangerously low voice, Stay out of this. You don't have to say anything to her. Yes, I believe she does. If it's really awful because you don't obviously have her under your thumb. She must be awakened to reality by someone. My blood boils as I take another step forward, but I make myself stop. It would only become worse if I got into a fight with him here. You could say anything you want, but if you think you're going to hurt her, you're completely mistaken. His smile gets bigger. He turns on his heel and leaves, his shiny shoes tapping against the deck as he replies, We'll see about that. I want to run after him with all my might, but I know I can't give him the upper hand. I'll make sure whatever he's planned doesn't work. I'll be damned if I allow him to harm Eris. She deserves better than his disgusting games. Better cool down my head before getting back to work. He's rich, date him instead. No. At least I get to watch this live. Was about to clock into work, but I was told to go since it was slow. Crazy and hard to keep up with. Alright, so we're gonna have to put this man in a body bag with a very heavy anchor, right going under, right? What? Nope, no more zooming. Another good shift done. The moment I finished my shift and got outside of the wheelhouse, I noticed how cold nights are becoming. After a quick body wash at the common area toilets, I rushed straight back to the cabin. I'm shivering and not in a good way. Wish I had more clothes. Max is reading in her bunk and hasn't said a single word to me. I guess I'll just climb to my bunk. I'm going to kill you when you least expect it. What? Don't take me wrong, I'm grateful you washed my clothes, but did you have to just throw them on the bench? Yeah, we've been through that. It's, uh. I thought she was gonna get mad or something, like punch me. That would have been funny. Max creaks her seat as she stands up, stretching. Without a word, she turns on her heel and strides towards the exit. I stop mid-bite and watch her leave. Her actions had a particular purpose. Too much for someone who only joked about tying each other up. I looked at the chef, who continues to look at me with a mix of worry and skepticism. You don't actually think she's going to... I'd rather not take my chances. I mutter, wiping my hand on a napkin before trailing after Max. Oh, hello. Stepping outside of the saloon, I brace for the cold drizzle that's been falling since morning. The wooden deck gleams in a soft glow of the lanterns, and the air is humid. I'm about to chase after Max, though, when I spot a familiar face standing just underneath a little section of roof, hardly protected from the rain. Eris. She's barely protected from the rain. I mean, you already mentioned that. As she stands behind a little overhang, a few loose hairs clinging to her cheeks, and drops land on her shoulders, she smiles when she sees me, even though it's rainy and cold. She comes up and gives me a tight embrace before I react. For a minute, I allowed myself to relax into her warmth, which contrasts sharply with the frigid air. Hey, you look tired. You could say that. The ruby eyes spark with amusement as she leans back just enough to examine my face. Rough night? Something like that. Eris hums and gives my arms a little squeeze before releasing them. Well, you must be up to something if you're out and about half awake in this weather. I glance past her, the rain tapping against the deck in a steady rhythm. Whatever Max is doing, she can wait a few more minutes. Maybe, but I don't mind taking a little detour right now. Good, I was hoping you'd say that. I look back at Eris after glancing at the rain drumming on the deck. Why are you out here anyway? Shouldn't you be inside where it's warm? Eris cocks her head, her smile turning into a more contemplative one. I like rain, always have. I watch as droplets roll down her cheek, catching the faint glow of the lanterns before she absently wipes it away. She seems to be listening to something that only she can hear as she stands there with her shoulders relaxed and her eyes half-lidded. But some of the crew told me not to go near the railings for now, or near the paddles for that matter. Why? They didn't say, they just told me to keep my distance, so I figured I'd enjoy the rain where I could. I look at the railings, and then at the shadowed sky beyond. The sea may become chaotic if the winds increase, but the drizzle remains constant. The crew must be on edge, keeping an eye on things in case the weather takes a turn for the worse. A ship like this, new as it may be, still relies on experience and caution to stay safe. Eris looks at me, her face inscrutable. She gently pokes me with her elbow and says, "You're thinking too much about it." Maybe, but I'd rather know if there's a problem before it becomes my problem. The sound of her laughter is soft compared to the rain's constant beat. Like you say, fair enough, but for now you should just enjoy this moment. I look back at her after taking another look at the rain. She seems to be referring to more than simply the weather in a way she phrases it. Eris moves a little and I feel her hand move, but her fingers firmly press into my left butt cheek rather than finding my hand. Rude. Absolutely rude. Every muscle in my body stiffens when Eris's hand touches my left butt cheek. Stay calm. Stay calm. Stay calm. Even though I almost leaped out of my skin, I make myself stay calm, but my mind is in full panic mode. Did she just... No way. That had to be an accident, right? Before I can even begin to process it, Eris jerks her hand away like she's been burned, her entire body jolting backwards. I was reaching for your hand. Her voice is higher than normal as she blurts out. She doubles down before I even get the chance to reply. Not that. That was an accident. A total accident. Her face is flushed despite the red scales, and her tail flicks wildly behind her. She looks like she's ready to start digging her own grave right here on the deck. I exhale slowly. It was nothing, just a mistake. Relax. I make the mistake of looking at her again, and the sheer panic in her eyes is enough to break me. Before I could stop myself, a chuckle breaks out. Stop laughing! I'm not. I struggle, but another chuckle slips out. It's just you jumped higher than I did. Of course I did. Did you know how weird that was? In an attempt to restore control, I bite my lip and then smirk harder. So, reaching for my hand, huh? She peeks at me through her fingers before dragging her hands down her face. Yes, I was trying to be all, I don't know, dramatic. Like in those stupid romance stories. You dramatic? I swear, if you don't stop... Alright, alright. I hold up my hands in surrender, my grin refusing to fade. I believe you, it was an accident. Still clearly embarrassed, she lets out a quick sigh. Good, never reaching for your hand again, though. I shake my head, still grinning. Stupid romance stories, huh? Funny coming from someone who's read the same erotic book 1,000,000 times. Eris freezes, her flustered expression twists into something else entirely pure, unfiltered betrayal. You did not just bring that up. I shrug, feigning innocence. I mean, if you're still taking inspiration from those, no wonder things got misplaced. Her tail snaps against the deck with an audible thwack, and I swear for a second I see actual smoke coming from her nostrils. I swear. I hardly contain my laughter as I raise my hands. Alright, I'll stop. Her face remains brilliant red above her scales even as she narrows her eyes. You better. For a second, there's just the sound of the rain, the tension between us lingering awkwardly. Then Eris huffs, crossing her arms. I was trying to have a nice moment, you know. It was definitely memorable. Her tail snaps at me again, and this time I dodge. Alright, you can still hold my hand if you want, just perhaps this time aim for my real hand, not my butt. Eris gasps, clutching her chest like I've mortally wounded her. I am offended by that offer. Are you? Yes! She huffs, crossing her arms. As if I take pity on you, your poor, lonely hand, after you just mocked my exquisite taste in literature. So that means you don't want to hold it? Her eye twitches. I'll accept it, but only because it's raining and I'm a needy girl. There, see? Nothing sinister. Eris's face is still a bit darker than normal as she glares up at me. Say one more word and I swear I will let go. I press my lips together, barely holding back a laugh. The rain continues to fall, cool and steady, but neither of us moves. I look first at the deck, which is soaked with rain, and then at the wheelhouse in the distance. You know my shift's about to start, right? Eris continues to stare at the water while the rain drums against the wooden deck, ignoring me. I know. While the steady sound of the paddles fill the air, we stand still for a minute, watching the waves tumble beneath the drab gray sky. Her touch feels warm, even reassuring in spite of the rain's cold. And I start to notice something. That warmth turns into pressure, a firm squeeze, then a tighter one. Then... Ow! Her grip tightens further, fingers pressing into mine with an alarming amount of strength. My knuckles shift, my bones, oh sweet primordial dragon, my bones! Don't say anything. She's just enjoying the moment. She doesn't realize. My hand! One more squeeze, I feel a sudden, intense pain rush up my wrist. She's trying to kill me. I twitch my free hand at my side while I try to maintain a neutral look. Eris lets out a small sigh, her tail curling slightly. Rain's nice, isn't it? Yeah. I choke out. So is having circulation in my fingers. I stare ahead, mentally fighting the urge to say anything, but I can feel my bones protesting, like they're moments away from making a horrible crunchy sound. Don't talk. Don't make this awkward. Don't. Another squeeze, my vision nearly goes white. I take a deep breath. Eris? She finally looks at me, blinking in confusion. Yeah? I glance down at her hands, then back at her. I really appreciate the sentiment, but I think just maybe that you're crushing my hand. Eris blinks again, and then her eyes widen in realization. She instantly lets go, her tail flicking behind her. Oh fuck, I'm sorry, I didn't notice. I twist my wrist slightly and bend my fingers to make sure everything's still alive and well. It's okay, I like my hands a little bent out of shape every now and then. Not funny. Alright, I should probably get going before my shift actually starts without me. Yeah, you should. Sorry again. One more look at her, she's standing there in the rain, watching the waves, her tail flickering casually before I turn to go. For a moment, I consider saying something else, but instead, I just nod and head off towards the wheelhouse. Clown honk. Yeah, squeeze the button, it's a clown honk. At least he's not gooning to it. She's a straight gooner. I mean, yeah. Is this the same dialogue? Nope. In contrast to the chilly drizzle outside, the air indoors feels almost warm. I'm immediately noticed by the captain, who is standing close to the helm. He lets out a weary sigh and extends his arms. Well, you're here. That's my cue to get some sleep. Sleep well, Uncle. He grunts an acknowledgement before stepping past me and out the door, leaving just the two of us in the wheelhouse. Let out a quiet breath, moving towards my usual spot. Neela turns to face me at that point, her brows slightly furrowing. You look a bit paler than usual. What? She tilts her head, watching me with mild curiosity. Is that okay to say to humans, like pointing out if someone looks pale, or is that rude? No, it's fine, I just barely slept last night. Although she nods in comprehension, she doesn't seem totally convinced. I roll my shoulders, trying to shake off the fatigue. Yeah, I'll manage. Neela watches me for a moment without saying anything. Then she leans on the helm and flicks her tail. Well, don't go passing out on me. I'd hate to have to do all the work. I wouldn't want that either. She chuckles, but her eyes linger on me for just a second longer, as if she's still gauging how bad I actually look. And she turns her attention back to the horizon, letting the conversation settle into a comfortable silence. The rain has lessened, but the sky remains overcast, casting a dull gray light over the sea. The monotony of the shift settles in, making it harder to fight the weight pressing down on my eyelids. I barely notice when Neela shifts beside me, her voice cutting through the haze in my mind. Hey, you're really not as active or aware as usual. Huh? I had to correct the course on my own twice now. Twice? I look at the horizon and then the compass to see if I missed anything. Hui, you seem to be dozing off. Guilt creeps in and I rub the back of my neck. Damn, I'm sorry. She watches me for a moment, then clicks her tongue. Yeah, well, you better wake up ASAP. I'll go grab a coffee or something. Because if I have to do this whole shift alone, I will hold it against you forever. That's a bit dramatic. Maybe, but I do mean it. Before you start leading us astray, go get something. Alright, I'll go grab something. Just loud enough for me to hear, she mumbles. Good, I was starting to worry for real. I pause for half a second before continuing out, deciding not to comment on it. Instead, I focus on my next mission, finding something strong enough to drag me out of this fog. And it's her again, oh boy. I entered the saloon to find it oddly quiet, absent of the typical noise of cutlery. Fuck. The retard is showing. Cuttery. I'm just gonna say cuttery, because I can't add the L without sounding autistic, so screw you. Cuttery and talk. The rain continues to patter against the ship, and I can feel the subtle shift in motion. Stronger waves rolling beneath us, the ship rocking a bit more than before. No wonder no one's here. Most of the passengers must have decided to stay in their cabins, avoiding the gloomy weather and the worsening sea conditions. Except for one person. Eris is sitting all alone, at the end of the table, eating what appears to be fish with some sort of sauce on it. The fact that the place is empty and that the ship is rocking more than normal doesn't seem to worry her. If anything, she appears totally relaxed, as though the ship's shaking were like a soft lullaby. Of course she's here, the girl who enjoys the rain. Curiosity draws me in more than anything else, and I briefly consider just getting a coffee and leaving, but my feet move before my head can catch up. I sit across from Eris. She continues eating without looking up, but a tiny grin pulls at the corner of her mouth. It's so subtle that it nearly seems as if she expected me to sit down as soon as I entered. For a moment, the only sounds are the constant patter of the rain outside, the distant hum of the ship, and the soft clinking of her cutlery on the plate. Finally, she starts talking. I don't think I'll ever get used to the shift in meals. A simple meal in the morning, a big one for lunch, and another simple one for dinner. Using her fork, she spears another piece of fish, swirling it gently in the sauce before biting into it. Feels backward. I watch her for a moment, still shaking off the lingering fatigue from my shift. You think it should be the other way around? She shrugs. Maybe, or at least more balanced. Feels weird to eat something light, and then this in the middle of the day. She gestures lazily at her plate, the sauce glistening under the light of the oil lamps. And then back to something small before bed. Looking towards the kitchen, I debate whether or not to get some food to go with my coffee. Even though I'm not really hungry, I can't help but notice how appetizing the food looks. I guess it makes sense. Big meals give energy for the rest of the day. Eris rests her chin on one hand and looks up at me at last. Maybe, but I don't think I'll ever fully get used to it. What about you? I exhale, leaning back in my seat. Right now, I just need a coffee before I start steering us into an iceberg. Oh, more Titanic jokes. Then go get one before I have to watch that happen. Yeah. While I head towards the kitchen, I can still feel her eyes on me. That small, knowing smile never quite leaving her face. It's like just phase into the kitchen. With the aroma of grilled fish and lingering spices still in the air, I force my way through the door and into the kitchen. There's no clatter of pots, no boiling soups, no hurried activity, and the atmosphere seems strangely calm, if I can talk. You know, water. I haven't had water in a while. The chef, without his typical apron, sits on a stool next to the counter. When he first sees me, his brow lifts a little in astonishment, and when he looks again, his face changes to one that is more knowing. You haven't changed a bit since morning. I exhale, rubbing my temples. Yeah, rough shift. He doesn't need me to elaborate. Instead, he just sighs. You need a coffee, don't you? Yeah, I was going to take it back to the wheelhouse with me. No, you won't. What? You heard me. Deck's wet from the rain. The ship's rocking more than usual. I'm not... Wait, didn't we... I feel like we went through this one before, but what do I know? I'm not letting you carry a hot drink across the ship and risk spilling it all over yourself, or worse, slipping while you're at it. I huff, frustrated but too tired to argue properly. I'll be careful. No, you'll drink it here, and then you'll go back without burning yourself or anyone else. Are you serious? Sit down. I sigh, realize there's no point in arguing. The chef has made up his mind, and I'm too tired to put up a fight. Without a word, I turn on my heel and walk out of the kitchen, heading back to the saloon. Eris remains seated and continues eating. Like the last time, she doesn't look up when I sit down in front of her again, but that little smile returns as though she knew I'd be returning. The chef won't let me take the coffee back to the wheelhouse. At last, Eris looks up, her eyes sparkling with amusement. Figures, she says, stabbing another piece of fish with her fork. So now you're stuck here. Seems like it. She hums in acknowledgement, taking another bite. Guess I get to watch you struggle to stay awake then. Fantastic. As like she had forgotten what she was doing, Eris stops in the middle of her action, her fork still piercing a piece of fish. Her bright eyes dart to me, and she looks at my face for a time, as if she's considering what to say next. Are you ever going to tell me your name? Huh? She rests her elbows on the table and leans forward a little. I didn't want to ask before, but now that I feel closer to you, I kind of want to know, just out of curiosity. John. Eris stares at me for a second, processing it. Then with the most unimpressed look I've seen from her, she says, Really? What's wrong with John? She sighs, finally putting her fork down. I'm not sure. I simply hope for something more distinctive. And what's that supposed to mean? It means I already know at least 30 Johns. 31 now with you. Great, guess I'm just another John in the crowd. Iris smiles as her tail waggles idly behind her. Yeah, but you're my 31st John, so that's gotta count for something. I lean forward a little and put my arms on the table, grinning. So, 30 Johns and the luck of being with you, huh? Eris freezes. The bright red on her cheeks intensifies and spreads beyond her already crimson scales as her eyes widen. What? No, that's not what I meant. She blurts out, sitting up straight so fast she nearly knocks over her plate. I maintain the smirk as I tilt my head. That's what it sounded like. No! Her tail is twitching wildly as she starts to stutter. I just meant that I know a lot of Johns, not like that. Uh-huh, sure. Iris groans, covering her face with both hands. You are the worst. I just grin, taking my victory while I can. Justice for the Johns. Iris lets out a frustrated sigh. I hate being like this. Like what? Her hands twitch a little. At the same time, she flicks her tail once. Nothing. Forget about it. I watch her for a moment, the way her fingers tighten slightly against her forehead. The way she's really trying to hide whatever's going on in her head. That's when it clicks. She's never been like this before. Never been flustered like this. Never had someone close enough to actually get to her. Oh, I see now. Eris immediately sits up straight, her hands dropping to the table. No, you don't. She snaps, her face still impossibly red. Yeah, I do. No, you don't. Her tail lashes once, and I can tell she's desperately trying to regain control of herself. But it's too late. She's already lost this one. Eris squints at me, obviously still agitated, but now attempting to defend herself. A slow smirk appears on her lips as she tilts her head slightly and crosses her arms. She hesitates, her confidence slipping as she glances down at the table. She traces lazy patterns across the wood with her fidgety fingertips. Is it okay if I call you Johnny? I blink, a bit taken aback by the abrupt change. Yeah, I don't mind, but why? She avoids looking at me and keeps her eyes down. Her nervousness is evident by the tiny curve of her tail next to her. So you can be my special John? For a second, I just stare at her. Eris, the same girl who had just been flustered beyond belief, was now making it even worse for herself. Your special John? Her scales lighten even more as she tenses instantly. Forget it. I knew it sounded stupid. No, I kinda like it. Eris, who is still obviously still ashamed, gives me a sidelong glance. Really? Yeah, you can call me Johnny if you want. She exhales as if relieved and finally looks at me again, though her face is still red. Okay. For a moment, neither of us say anything. The rain continues to patter against the ship, the faint creaking of wood filling the quiet. Guess that makes you my special Eris, then. She nearly chokes on air, her tail smacking the leg of the table. Oh no, Heimlich maneuver. Iris's face turns bright red for a completely other cause as her eyes widen and she frantically attempts to clear her throat. Just before she almost chokes, the chef steps in. His gaze shifts from me to Eris, who is still coughing. Is the lady okay? I glance at Eris, who is currently struggling to recover, then back at him. I'm not sure. At the side, the chef approaches Eris and gently pats her back while using a firm yet cautious hand. Breathe, girl. You're choking on air now. Eris waves a hand dismissively, still avoiding eye contact with me. I'm fine. After a while, the chef shakes his head and places a cup of coffee in front of me, but he still doesn't seem quite convinced. Here, drink it before you even think of going back to the wheelhouse. I glance at the steaming cup, then back at him. Sir, you didn't have to bring it yourself. The chef crosses his arms. I consider you would somehow trip and spill it all over yourself. Eris giggles, still recovering. When I give her a quick glance, she covers her lips to stop herself from laughing. The chef shakes his head and sighs once again. Alright, girl, are you okay now? Or will I have to worry about my saloon suffering another casualty? What did he just say? I'm fine. Cough. She insists, though her voice is still a little wobbly. The chef eyes her for a second, then looks to me. Giovannato, what the hell did you do to her? I shrug. Just told her that she's my special Eris. Eris immediately stiffens, her tail twitching violently against the floor. The chef stares at me, then at her, then back at me. I'm too damn old for this. I like how he moved in front of Eris. Like, go back. He moves in front of her. He climbed through the table, through Eris, to go back to the kitchen. With that, he turns and walks back to the kitchen, muttering something under his breath about kids these days. Eris, meanwhile, is doing her absolute best not to combust on the spot. Eris pouts, crossing her arms as she glares at me. Meanie. I blink. Wait, was that too much? She sighs, continuing to avoid direct eye contact with me. Obviously. Her tail flicks in irritation, and her claws tap against the table. You just keep pushing even though you know I'm not used to this stuff. Alright, my bad. I didn't mean to take it that far. Eris peeks at me from the corner of her eye, still holding on to her frustration. But I could tell she's not really mad, just overwhelmed. Look, I'll tone it down a little. If it truly annoys you, I'll stop teasing you. After a period of silence, she lets out a sigh. Good. But I am keeping Johnny. Wouldn't have it any other way. She rolls her eyes, but doesn't argue. Eris's normal confidence doesn't exist as she fidgets with her fingers and her gaze wanders between the table and me. I don't want to push things too fast. I mean, if we really are more than just friends. Are we? She finally looks at me, her red face deepening in color. Weren't you trying to hit on me? I let out a small breath, leaning forward with my arms resting on the table. I like you, yeah, but I didn't want to push anything too far, especially after, 2 days ago. Eris stiffens at that, and I immediately see the moment of realization dawn on her. I watch her as her expression shifts, her eyes widening slightly, her fingers tensing against the table, and as I see it, it hits me too. I was pushing things, and I can now understand how she would have interpreted everything I said, even if I hadn't meant it that way. Here, I'm gonna grab some water. Open, please. Thank you. Alright. Funny thing, the only reason I called him Johnny here was because of that Johnny Bravo meme with the dragon. Okay. Great. I'm not used to dating. I nod, rubbing the back of my neck. Yeah, I guess I just realized I've been making it look like we already were. A silence settles between us. The sound of rain against the ship fills the empty saloon. And for the first time, neither of us have a teasing remark to throw back. I don't hate it, I don't know what to do with it. We don't have to rush anything, we can just figure it out as we go. She glances at me, studying my face for a moment before slowly nodding back. Okay, but that's not the issue. I offer her a small smile. She hesitates. After a second, she returns it. Before speaking, Eris pauses and taps her fingers on the table. Quietly, she confesses, I did have someone before, but it was over in 2 days. 2 days? She nods, her expression turning awkward. What happened? If you want to tell me, of course. She looks away, fidgeting, her tail wrapping around the bench's leg. I kind of, just a tiny bit, accidentally broke his hips. How? How? Blinking, I stare at her, waiting for her to say she's joking, but she doesn't. You... what? I said it was an accident. It's not like I meant to. I barely hear the rest of her words as my thoughts spiral. Lucky... Oh no, it is how it happened. Lucky guy. With her cheeks still hot, Eris sighs into her hands before carefully removing them. She murmurs, staring at the table. He was a co-worker, someone that I kind of liked. We laughed a lot and got along, and after that, well... It happened on the first night, and then it was over. He said he couldn't even look at me without wincing after that. I never talked to him again after that. That's why I just stay in my books now. I glance at her, watching as she avoids eye contact. her claws nervously tapping against her fork. Less risk of hospitalization, I guess. A part of me wants to say something teasing, to say something cunning as usual, but I restrain myself. Her voice is soft, careful, as if she is showing me something she hasn't shown anyone in a while. That must have sucked. You are not wrong. I remain silent for a moment longer. However, a certain notion continues to nag at the back of my mind. Still, lucky guy. I get up from the bench and remark, I should get back to the wheelhouse. Shift's calling. Eris nods, her eyes following me, but her smile lingering. I pause for a second, standing beside the table. Once I'm done, though, I was thinking maybe we could hang out a bit, if that's okay with you. She blinks, then gives a small, shy smile as she tucks a strand of hair behind one horn. That would be nice. Cool, I'll come find you later then. The faint echo of her voice follows me as I head out. Don't be late, Johnny. I glance back with a faint grin, then slip out into the rain. Death by Snoo Snoo. Eris is canonically a pelvis destroyer. Oh no. The door of the wheelhouse clicks gently behind me as I enter. Neela remains still, her eyes focused squarely on the compass, and her hands are solid on the steering wheel. You awake now. Her tail flicks once behind her, calm but alert. I move to where I usually am and observe her for a while. With a little water brushed off of my shoulder, I answer, more or less, thanks to the strong coffee and a strong warning about bones breaking. Still, she doesn't look at me, just keeps steering, calm and composed like nothing escapes her notice. A few hours pass in silence, broken only by the constant tapping of rain on the glass and the hum of the motors. All shift. Visibility has been poor, and the horizon has become a drab smudge of gray. Squinting ahead, checking bearings and making sure we weren't even slightly off route, I was on edge much of the time. When all you can see is water and fog, it's difficult to unwind. But finally, the next shift is here. I lean back against the wall, exhaling slowly as I rub my neck. That lingering pressure in my temples starts to ease. Neela steps away from the wheel, stretching her arms out with a soft groan. I hope we eat something nice tonight. Something real. I could go for stew or maybe a roast. I'm thinking of something light. Bread, soup, whatever puts me to sleep fast. Getting old already? Just tired. Very, very tired. The door creaks open behind us, letting in a draft of cool, damp air along with the sound of the rain outside. The familiar weight of boots steps inside, and before I even turn, I know who it is. Evening. Neela straightens up a bit, giving him a casual nod. All yours, Uncle. He walks past us without hurry, giving the compass a glance, then peering through the front windows. Well, nothing else to do here. We leave the wheelhouse and go straight out the saloon. Straight up the saloon. While the sound of the rain outside continues to whisper, we stroll side by side along the corridors, our boots making a delicate echoing sound against the hardwood floor. The warmth from within is already a minor consolation by the time we get to the saloon doors. Neela slows down, halting just before she enters. With her wet hair brushed back behind one horn, she says, I'll eat later. I want to make sure we're ready for tomorrow's shift by speaking with a few of the sailors about it. I glance at her, but she's already turning towards the outer deck. And just like that, she disappears out into the misty gray. I take a seat near the corner, not planning to linger. I'll just eat quickly, I think, and go find Eris. I shudder a little as a plate clinks down in front of me as soon as I sink into the seat. Is it gonna be Max? Oh no, never mind. The chef stands there, holding another plate in one hand and wearing that calm, unreadable expression of his. You're slower than usual. I didn't even see you back there. He takes the seat across from me and shrugs. It's a slow day, and I have nothing better to do than keep an eye on the door. I look around the empty saloon, the long bench with only a handful of people on it, the lanterns that softly wave with the ship's movements. Yeah, it makes sense. He leans forward, arms crossed on the table, his apron folded and tossed on the counter behind him. Just a plain shirt now. Figured you'd show up eventually. He's still got the apron on, though. I look down at the plate, stew. Simple but comforting. Thanks. He nods, then quietly starts eating his own plate across from me. Yeah, I think stabbing a piece of fish with my fork, he's definitely bored. The chef eats in silence for a while, but then begins between spoonfuls, he glances up at me. What's with the girl from earlier? Eris? Tall one, red scales, bit jumpy, sat with you like she knew your heartbeat. I set my fork down and leaned back a little. She's a friend, I think. I mean, I'm not sure yet. We're getting somewhere. The chef hums, clearly unconvinced, or maybe just thoughtful. He chews slowly, then taps the edge of his plate with his fork. She reminds me of someone when I was your age. There was this tall lady, too. Elegant. Quiet, mostly. Married a guy from my neighborhood. I nod a little, just listening. They looked happy at first, but then the guy, he started walking with a cane, then two, then, well, by the time he turned 30, he was in a wheelchair. Yeah, we all know why. We know why. Sorry about that, grabbing some water. Sounds like he had something serious, a disease or... The chef shakes his head, slow and deliberate. No, nothing like that. He was fine before they got together. The gears in my head click into place one by one. The silence stretches for just a second too long. Oh. Ain't saying it's the same thing, of course. Just be careful, yeah? We're not on that level yet. We're just figuring things out. I don't think it's, well, I'm not worried about that. The chef glances at me, a gleam of knowledge in his eye. It's okay. It's okay to like dragon ladies, you know. Nothing wrong with that. He pauses, his eyes narrowing slightly. Just a reminder, though their bodies are heavier than ours, dragons are strong, and that strength can be dangerous if you're not careful. I blink, surprised by the sudden seriousness in his tone. With a sigh that has a hint of nostalgia, he leans back. You see, my one true love was a dragon lady too. Smaller than me, though. Way smaller, so it wasn't quite the same scenario. I wonder what he's going to say when we're with Max. You're talking about Neela's mother, right? That's right. You remember me telling you about her. She was a dragon, and well, we had a good thing for a while, but it wasn't easy. So wait, is Neela like a half-breed? Or... I forget the story. Or was it like a chef had to step up kind of story? I sit up a little straighter, processing the familiar information, but with a new perspective. So you're saying I should be careful because of what could possibly happen? The chef nods again, his face hardening with a mixture of concern and experience. Exactly. The thing is, dragons, especially big ones like the Red Lady, they're strong. You might not always realize it, but you don't want to end up hurting yourself or her if things get too heated. Did I miss something? He gives me a kind yet perceptive look. Just looking up for you, Giovannido, that's all. I nod thoughtfully, his words still weighing heavily on me. I'll remember it. All right, just keep that in mind that dragons are different. I lean back in my seat a bit, looking down at the food but not really seeing it. I like her regardless, big dragon lady or not. The chef chuckles before slapping his hand firmly on the table. That's the spirit. He flashes a broad smile that makes the corner of his eyes wrinkle. A bit of risk makes it real, eh? Just don't go doing anything reckless, and if she likes you back, well, maybe she'll be the careful one. One can only hope. He reaches over and gives my shoulder a firm pat. Enjoy your meal, Giovannido, and don't forget to stretch your back every now and then. You'll thank me later. With that, he stands up and strolls off towards the kitchen again, leaving me with a warm plate, a warmer feeling in my chest, and the lingering thought of scarlet red scales and a rain-soaked smile. Like a guy on a mission, I begin eating more quickly and shoving spoonfuls into my lips. My thoughts are already elsewhere, replaying Eris's flustered smile and the way her hand lingered on mine, the way she'd call me Johnny, like it was something precious. I gotta stretch my neck a bit. My goodness. You know what? I need to change my whole setup real quick. Hold on. I hate having a stiff neck, man. That is not fun. Alright. Before I know it, I'm done. I stand up, adjust my shirt, and head out of the saloon. Here I go again. You take your eyes off 1 second and you start reverting back to retard mode. The low hum of the rain against the ship's windows still present in the background. Although it's a short walk to the women's cabin area, the air feels denser in this hallway. There aren't many people in the area, only the ship's slight creaking and the harsh beat of the engines, likely due to the proximity. I blink. I didn't ask which cabin she was in. For a moment I stand there awkwardly, looking around at the line of closed doors in front of me. One of them's hers. Probably. I hope. I rub the back of my neck, wondering if the polite protocol is for not looking like a creep at the hallway full of cabins. I'm still standing in the middle of the hallway, looking foolish, trying to think of what to do, when I hear footsteps coming from the stairway. A dragon lady is descending, her long tail fanning gracefully behind her, and I turn my head just in time to glimpse her. It's probably going to be Victoria. Oh no. Who's this? Who's this Reshiram looking ass? Oh boy. Probably the biggest rack in the game right here. When she sees me, she halts. Her eyes narrow ever so slightly. She doesn't say anything. Doesn't ask what I'm doing, just stares at me, head tilted the smallest bit, mouth twitching with subtle disdain, like she just caught a rat in the pantry. She's already mad. She's faintly purple, so she's got that Trish DNA in her, doesn't she? I tried to look as casual as humanly possible, hands in my pants pocket, leaning against the wall like I totally belong here, like this is just, you know, a thing I do, hanging out in hallways. She doesn't buy it, not one bit. She huffs through her nostrils, flicks her tail sharply past me, and vanishes behind one of the cabin doors, closing it securely behind her. I stare at the door for a second. Well, that wasn't awkward at all, I think, dragging a hand down my neck. Real smooth, Anon, real smooth. John is a large dragon lady enjoyer, a man of taste, I see. He is a multiple dragon enjoyer. Then Eris and Anon find a guitar in storage, and Anon can play it, and Eris starts calling him Johnny Guitar. Hey Xena, long time no see. Quick, use a master ball. A few seconds later, the door creaks open once more, and I prepare myself for yet another round of quiet judgment. But why is she mad? But this time it's Eris who steps out. She looks mildly irritated. Her brow is furrowed, her jaw tight. She lets out a long exhale through her nose like she's just barely avoided saying something she would have regretted. And she looks at me. The irritation melts away instantly. Her whole face lights up, lips curling into a bright, genuine smile, like I'd been exactly who she hoped to see when she walked out. Hey! I think the mystery's solved. The other dragon lady, the one who looked at me like I was a creep loitering outside a sorority house. Yeah, she must be Eris's cabin mate. Perfect. Eris brushes a few loose hairs behind her ear as she approaches me. Her smile becomes a bit embarrassed, and a little flush appears through her scales once again. I was waiting for you. I told my cabin mate you might stop by, and well... She probably described him as a creep. She glances briefly back at the closed door behind her, and then lowers her voice with a little grimace. She got kind of annoyed. Annoyed? Yeah, I mentioned I've been spending time with a human lately, and she rolled her eyes so hard I swear I heard it. Said I was being ridiculous, like I'm not allowed to have friends or something. Oh, we got the dragon racist here, huh? I didn't mean to make things awkward. She's just like that. I glance at the door too, and then back at Eris. So I'm the human, huh? She gives me a little nod, but her eyes widen as if she wasn't expecting me to say that way. You're my human, she says under her breath, then quickly clears her throat, flustered. I mean, the one I've been hanging out with, that's all. Just that, you know. I try not to laugh, really I do, but a grin breaks through anyway. Don't. Caught in the act. I'm really trying here, okay? Saying sweet stuff doesn't come easy to me, especially not to someone who actually thinks I'm pretty. Eris's voice dips at the end, almost like the words physically weighing her down. Her tail flicks slightly behind her as she briefly escapes my gaze. I feel the grin fade a little, but not because it stopped being funny. It's because I get it. She's putting herself out there, and I don't want to push her into her corner. Okay, no laughing, I promise. Then, hoping to give her a break from the intensity, I add, so, what's the deal with your cabin mate again? With a theatrical sigh, Eris expresses her gratitude for the shift. Oh, Lorelei. She shakes her head and thumpily leans her shoulder on the wall. She's been real fun lately. I've been talking about you with her, like a lot. Just stuff like how we've been hanging out, how you make me laugh, that kind of thing. And that pissed her off? Apparently, yeah. The more I talk about you, the more annoyed she gets. I think she was already in a bad mood before, but I guess hearing about you just added fuel to her fire. She called it undignified obsession or something dramatic like that. She makes a face, rolling her eyes. She's complicated. Thinks I'm wasting my time or something, but I don't care. She pauses again and then glances at me out of the corner of her eye. I like wasting my time with you. Oh God. Oh boy. It's time to take another drink. How have you been? I'm hanging in there. It's been mixed. Leave it to the large-breasted, slightly purple dragon to be racist towards humans. Yeah, where have I seen that before? The sound of the cabin door slamming open is so loud that it rattles the walls. I wince. Hell, that must have been heard by everyone in this area of the ship. Eris groans, already muttering under her breath. Oh no. Lorelei stands at the doorway, her posture blazing, her now familiar expression of complete contempt, like a hawk focusing on a rabbit. Her light blue eyes are fixed on Eris. Oh no, is this German? Translator, go. Go, translator. Translate. I'm annoyed, Eris. She shouts, her voice thick with that sharp, unmistakable Schwarzel region accent. Do you know why I'm pissed? It's because you of all people, keep throwing your new little acquaintance in my face after I told you I wanted to find a husband and had no luck. Oh, I wonder why. Eris straightens up and blinks like a kid who was caught stealing sweets before supper. You said you weren't even looking, remember? That you just wanted to enjoy the voyage. And now suddenly you're spending every minute talking about your human friend and how sweet and funny and kind he is, and... She gestures wildly at me with both hands. Oh wait, she's got a smile. Uh-oh. Or is that a smile? I don't know. I don't want to hear another word about Johnny this or Johnny that. Oh, so she remembered the nickname. Great. Eris exhales deeply. Lorelei, I didn't mean to rub anything in your face. Then stop rubbing! Lorelei throws her hands up, turning on her heel and storming back into the cabin, muttering something about the dialect of the mountains that sounds like it could scorch paint off the walls. The door slams again, this time bringing the entire ship down with it. Should I feel honored or threatened? Eris sighs and rubs the back of her neck, her tail flickering low behind her. She's just jealous. Jealous? Jealous, or like grumpy cabin mate jealous? She gives me a pointed look. Jealous. Lorelei's been talking non-stop about how she wanted to find someone special on this trip. Some dragon, of course, but so far she has nothing but disappointing conversations and one guy who asked if her tail was fake. Ouch. Yeah, and then I started telling her about this human who makes me feel weird in a good way. It doesn't treat me like I'm a sideshow attraction, and suddenly she can't stand to hear it anymore. Weird in a good way? Don't make me take it back, Johnny. No, I'll behave. She narrowed her eyes at me in mock suspicion, but the blush blooming above her red scales gave her away. Come on, let's go somewhere else before she slams the door again and knocks the frame off. Very German looking. The purple racist theory is more possible as we go on. Alright, we're in like the last 10 minutes of the stream, just putting it out there. My neck is not giving me any relief. We walked around the ship while chatting. There was not much to do with the rain and the absolute darkness outside. See you tomorrow. You bet. I need to rest. My muscles are sore after the shift. Eris enters her cabin and I leave the common area of this side of the ship. As I push open the creaking door to our cabin, the sound of the storm rages outside, shaking the ship with every thunderous gust. I step inside, shaking off the chill from our ship's draft, and find Max curled up in her bunk. Her eyes are closed, but the tension in her posture betrays her restlessness as the ship heaves through the storm. Hey, how are you holding up? Weren't you supposed to knock on the door first? I forgot, but I have something for you. She sits up slowly, her gaze fixed on me with a mix of exhaustion and anticipation. What is it? Come on, don't be grumpy. I brought you... Oh, is this... I think we... Yeah, we went through this. Is this part of the... I don't think it is. No, that's not the guide. Okay, yep. Okay, this doesn't matter, so we're gonna just try and fall asleep. I shift again, trying to find a more comfortable position, but the mattress feels like it's constantly shifting beneath me. Each tilt and roll of the ship disrupting any hope of rest. I close my eyes tightly, willing myself to ignore the relentless rocking, but my body feels like it's caught in a never-ending sway. This isn't working. Time stretches endlessly, and despite my efforts, sleep eludes me, leaving me awake and restless, waiting for the storm to ease and the stillness to finally come. I guess I could go for a walk. Oh, I guess the illusion of choice, huh? I swing my legs over the... doesn't matter. Illusion of choice. Zip zoom, here we go. Back to the saloon. Half of all the dragon women in Beverly Hills, at least, have clearly had tail enhancement surgery. How would you even do that with tails? Botox? I don't know. Just a big fucking water balloon ass tail. It's all squishy. It squelches when you grab it. It feels like the saloon is holding its breath. I enter and allow the door to close behind me, the moist wood making a little creaking sound as it closes. Since yesterday, the rain hasn't stopped its continuous monotonous whisper against the windows, like a metronome without melody. It's silent here. No passengers, can't blame them. Food seems more like a challenge than a comfort, given how the ship sways and shakes. However, the scent of last night's pizza strikes me as soon as I enter. Something about it feels wrong. Not bad, just wrong, like seeing a campfire lit at the bottom of a swimming pool. With my hands loosely clasped in front of me, I sit down and rest on my elbows. The ship groans beneath me, the same deep, living sound it makes when it's tired of being beaten by the sea. I wonder how long I'll be able to live like this before I stop noticing the motion entirely. Then silently a dish materializes before me. Didn't catch a glimpse of movement. Just bam, pizza. The chef's already gone again, vanished into whatever corner of the kitchen. The slice is still steaming, the crust dark and crisp, the cheese pulling slightly to one side like it melted at an angle. Too much organo. Always too much organo, not that I'd ever tell him. I stare at it for a moment, the plate warm against the chilled table, and think I couldn't eat this for breakfast every day. It's not that it's bad, it's good. Too good, honestly. But pizza in the morning? That's a future I'm not ready for. Still, the way it appeared, the chef sensed me stepping inside. It's uncanny. It's like he has the sixth sense of some invisible tripwire at the threshold that tells him a soul has entered that a soul has entered, bringing the slice. I shake my head and pick it up. It's crispy, oily, and just salty enough to make me think maybe, just maybe, I could get used to it. Maybe. The pizza is warm, heavier than it looks. Every bite crunches faintly at the edges, then melts into cheese and spice. Too much organo. The most of the chef's dishes. I chew slowly, letting the silence wrap around me. There's something comforting about the way the saloon creaks with the motion of the ship. A tired old rhythm that makes no demands. As I eat silently, no rush, no chatting, only the faint clink of silverware resonating from someplace behind the kitchen door, and the soft companionship of distant thunder. Then I feel it. Not a noise, not a footstep. Just a shift. A presence. Oh, is this the rich guy again? There's a silhouette in the doorway, haloed faintly by the rainy light behind it. I don't even look. I already know who it is. I don't take my eyes off my plate. Engaging is not necessary, not after yesterday, not after the way she regarded me as though I had carried illness with me. Oh, is this going to be Lorelei? Oh, yeah. Oh, we got the purple menace on us, I guess. Way to go. Here, I was hoping she was just going to be a one-off. Now we have another antagonist. One was enough. Tail extensions. Is having a big tail like having a big chest? Well, I guess to some people. And Nvidia is actually trying to steal the silicone from her tail. Nvidia? Is she going to try and steal Anon? I think there was someone who wanted like a Lorelei route or something, I don't know. I won't say anything today, just as I didn't then. Simply by her facial expression, she expressed her viewpoint, and to be honest, I'm not in the mood to play diplomat over a piece of pizza for breakfast. She walks in anyway, of course she does. Like everything she does, the sound of her boots hitting the ground is precise and light. She doesn't think twice, just crosses the room and takes a seat across from me. Her hands are clasped together on the table as if she were going to perform surgery, and her posture is rigid. I don't raise my head. I see enough through the corners of my eyes. She's squinting at me. Glaring, more like. Taking another mouthful, I exhale through my nose. I do not like you. I glance up now, just for a second. Then why are you smiling? Her face remains unchanged, squint is still fixed, as if she's attempting to figure out why I'm here. Yeah, I figured. She gives me a single nod, as if I passed an exam I wasn't aware I was taking. And then she just sits there, watching me, like I'm going to say something else. I take another bite of pizza instead. The muffled patter of the rain on the windows and the odd creak of the ship's hull are the only sounds to break the long, thin quiet between us. I don't glance up once more. I don't have to. The way she glares at me is methodical, steady, and just sharp enough to itch, like a dagger slowly being twisted in my direction. Then once again, without a whisper of warning, a plate slides in front of her. Another slice of pizza. Same crust, same overkill oregano, same ghostly delivery. I see the kitchen door swinging shut as I turn to look at it. The chef didn't say a word, didn't even make eye contact. Just dropped the plate and vanished, like his work was here and done and nothing else in the world mattered. Lorelei doesn't move at first, doesn't say thank you, doesn't acknowledge the food. She's still staring at me, squinting like I'm a crime scene, and she's memorizing every line. I take another bite of my slice, chewing slowly, trying to ignore the way her eyes burn holes into my forehead. But it's impossible to focus with her sitting there like that rigid posture, unnerving silence, and just this ever-present judgment radiating from across the table. She doesn't try to hide it, not one bit. It's almost impressive how little effort she's putting into pretending to be polite. Most people would at least fake civility. Not her. Not this elegant, perfect, coiffed, big tits dragoness who looks at me like I tracked mud across her hand-woven carpets. I finish chewing and think. What the hell is wrong with her? Does she hate me that much? She picks up her slice with 2 fingers like it's toxic and finally looks away, only to examine the pizza like it might explode. Lorelei stares at her slice like it personally insulted her bloodline. Then without warning, she lifts her eyes back to me. You owe me! I blink, slowly lower my half-eaten slice to the plate. Excuse me? Still processing what she just said, I look at her. You owe me nights! Lorelei repeats, slow and deliberate, squinting like she's speaking to someone terminally dense. 3, maybe 4. I didn't count. My brain goes straight off a cliff. Our nights? What kind of nights? What the hell is she implying? Wait, is she... I nearly inhale the last bit of pizza in my mouth and instantly regret it. I cough hard, choking on oregano in confusion, and spit what's left into the napkin like it betrayed me. My heart's doing laps in my chest, and I can already feel the heat climbing up my neck. Lorelei doesn't even blink. She states bluntly, as if she's been waiting to say it since she entered the saloon. I haven't slept in days because of you. I freeze, my heart pounding for quite different reasons, still gasping a little. Lorelei huffs, flicking a piece of crust off of her plate with distaste. Eris talks non-stop at night in bed loudly. I open my lips to speak, but she continues as if she has had no idea what was going through my mind. She doesn't stop. My human this, my human that. She giggles like some enchanted schoolgirl that goes through the walls. Do you know what it's like to lie awake and listen to a grown dragoness giggle for hours? Well, do you want to take Max? You can have Max. She shuts up sometimes. She leans forward, like she's personally offended by the concept of affection. 3 nights ago, she described your shoulders. Your shoulders for 15 minutes. That is a convey of motion. That looks like an emotion expressing cringe. I'm cringe now. Really? Yes! She hisses, eyes narrowed to slits. And last night she compared your laugh to the rhymes of waves. Waves, human! I don't even know what that means. Lorelei stabs her fork into her slice as if she's trying to kill it. I sit back, a little breathless, still trying to recalibrate from what I thought she meant. She, of course, remains completely unaware. I don't need to tell her that I thought she wanted to sleep with me anyway. And you owe me sleep, or silence, or both. And don't blink at me like that. She mentioned that too. I blink again, reflex. Stop it! I rub the side of my face, still trying to decide if this is real life or some strange fever dream brought by the whiskey from last night. I eventually remark, my voice low and a little scratchy from almost choking to death. I don't have any control over what Eris does, you know that, right? Lorelei takes a while to respond. She chews slowly and purposefully, as if she's using food as a mean to avoid spitting fire at me from across the table. Then she nods once, sharply, with all the excitement of someone who just agreed to shovel dung. I know, it doesn't matter. Another bite, another glare. She talks because of you, therefore it's your fault. That is math. The German, speaking German. That's not math. That's exactly like math, isn't it? Come on, translator. Let's go. It feels like math. Okay, sure, dragon math, got it. She scoffs through her nose and focuses on her food again, still mad, still stewing, but at least not actively plotting my assassination anymore. Probably. Lorelei tears off another bite of crust with the kind of precision that makes me wonder if her teeth are sharper than they look. She chews, stares at the table, and then lets out a slow, almost disappointed sigh. I don't want to be in a bad mood with anyone. It's ineffective and draining, especially at this moment. I look at her, not knowing if I should nod and remain silent or say anything. I'm trying to find a mate. She adds, blunt and matter-of-fact, as if she's informing me of the weather. Oh. She stares at me. I stare back. There's a pause. Then, without looking away, she narrows her eyes and leans ever so slightly forward, showing her D-cup. A dragon mate. Are you into plastic surgery, Anon? Have you ever wanted to be transracial, Anon? She says, voice flat and deliberate, each syllable underlined with the unspoken just in case you were getting any stupid ideas, you ridiculous soft skin. What? Right, of course, a dragon, naturally. Is that just natural? She echoes, nodding once, satisfied she'd made herself perfectly clear. The silence stretches for a moment. She picks a bit of cheese off of her slice and flicks it aside like it offended her. I didn't leave the old world to waste time. I have standards. What is this? I have to bring out the translator. You did this. Criteria. Symmetry, I imagine. Yes, among other things. So I'm disqualified. You were never qualified. Why am I getting buzzed? No, my watch was going off like I got a notification, but I guess it was nothing. We both notice movement before I can think of a cunning retort or anything to protect my wounded dignity. With his hands in his pocket and an off-key melody humming... Why is it because I left my phone on the Google Lens? It keeps having issues. It's annoying. Orange walks past casually as if he's heading somewhere unimportant. His stance is calm and confident in that inadvertent manner that says, I don't try to be charming, I just am. His scales shine just enough in the dim saloon light. Lorelai's entire attitude... I just noticed her fucking expression. Oh. Lorelai's entire attitude changes, similar to a switch. In less than a heartbeat, she transformed from a scornful ice queen to a fully aware predator, as if someone had pulled a lever labeled full female instinct. Her back straightens, her tail shifts, and her tone goes syrupy smooth. Who's that attractive dragon? She asks softly, her gaze following him like a cat detecting its prey. What? She doesn't even glance at me, still staring, focused, locked on target. That one. Good shoulders, perfect horn symmetry. Orange? Her eyes widen just a bit more. Orange? She repeats, and something in her voice cracks like a glass under pressure. The name hangs in the air like it physically touched her. Then as abruptly as before, her face flushes scarlet, red and ember glow, as if her body just realized it is capable of embarrassment. Her ears perk up, and she slumps in the seat 1 inch. Orange. She avoids my gaze entirely, very interested in the piece of cheese of what's left from the pizza. Payback time, bitch. Not a human. Shut up. Alright, push your luck. Don't push your luck, yeet. Come. God. We'll save these ones for later. How about that? Because it is past the 2-hour mark. We'll save... This will be something to look forward to next time. For sure. Hey, Pork. Happy Friday. Hey, Ramon. 2 hours already. Are you extending? No. I needed to find a good stopping point. It was either like the next scene or a choice. A choice that mattered, you know. I'm making a side project of Lorelai. Yeah, you were saying you were going to pair Anon with her or something? Is she going to be like seeing as this is a quote-unquote a movie, is she going to be like actually like not a bitch? I'll change a lot of things based on this stream. I was just getting good. Yeah, we'll be back. Maybe Sunday or Monday. We'll see. Well, what do I got physical therapy Monday. Maybe. Well, yeah, I could shoot for Monday. Physical therapy isn't too awful anymore. We'll try and shoot for Monday. Rammstein starts playing. A racist and a German. Oh no. Aren't these all more drakes rather than dragons since they don't have wings? Yeah, I don't know, man. I was calling Max a kobold. She just looks like it, you know? Lorelai and Anon go to Argentina. Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know how long that project will take to come out, because I know Haru's working on Don't Bite Me. And I don't even know how close that is to coming out. Do we have an ETA on that? Or are you not able to speak on that? Nope. You can't speak on it. Still talking to artists, okay. Max being a kobold makes sense. She seems like a little gremlin, I know, right? Well, if we're still waiting on the art. Well, is it just the art we're waiting on? Is like the writing and the coding pretty much done? I assume you guys got like placeholders for like sprites and stuff. It'll probably come out before Ashfall. That'd be hilarious, dude. That'd be great. One problem with visual novels is that it's a straightforward progress. Straightforward progress. I'm not sure what that means. I love Max as a kobold. And on goes to the Middle East. And instead of 3 weeks on the Atlantic, it's like one trip on the cargo hold or some shit. One flight. Or one trip on the US Liberty. Oh god. Oh, that'd be a funny mod. Basically, if you have a 3D game, you can do multiple things while not having one asset. But visual novels is, I don't have this, so we go into a halt. I'm surprised you don't, like, throw together, like, placeholders to edit in later, you know? Like, like, certain character has needs certain art, so you, like, make a placeholder of, like, let's say Liz angry or Liz overjoyed. Or something like that, and it's just a placeholder until you get the art. I don't know. It'd feel weird to just stop because you don't have the art, whereas you could just throw in a placeholder and come back to it. I don't know. 3 weeks to Dubai. I do use placeholders. What happened with this? I ended up writing unnecessary things. Huh. I don't get it. Then again, I'm not the one. No one's read what's going on with Don't Bite Me, so we don't know. I don't know. I'm going through this and it's all right. It's got some bumpy parts, but it's been solid so far. 3 weeks in Fallujah. That'd be hilarious. Too bad there's no mod support here. Where's the mod? No mod. I mean, someone could probably just swipe the assets and then throw it through like Snoop Game or something. I don't know. With Don't Bite Me, I've been talking with Midnight. It's going to be a bitch to code the paths. Yeah, I bet. Anything is better than Goon Fantasies. Yeah, like, what is it? Abalong? Abalong? My god. I feel like there's mods out there that's just like porn slop or lesbian slop, man. Like, the things I've seen from, like, Fossil Fuel, it just seems like it's lesbian slop. Because that's all I see is, like, porn or fucking lewd shit. Like, my god, we're getting more gooning. And speaking of slop, what's his face? Jaunty went viral on Twitter for his animation of his goon golem. That was funny to see. I'm wondering when I'm going to go viral for being absolutely cringe. I'm sure one of my crash outs will fucking breach, will breach containment. One day. I wonder if YouTube will even allow you to play the scene with Eris, even though it's censored. Maybe. I mean, I played, what is it, D Dinosaur? That one I did not censor at all, I don't think. That game was very spicy, I guess, and I know Jack streamed it. I mean, a bunch of other streamers streamed it too, or YouTubers. YouTubers, streamers, it was all over. Twitch probably loved it. I don't think you want to be famous like that, Porku. Well, I mean, like, famous for crashing out, not for being a gooner. I know if I get famous for one of my crash outs, I'm definitely going to be, like, low-cal worthy. And I know I'm part spedish. I can be a sped. I have my moments. That D Dinosaur game was unhinged. It was funny until it got to the end where I rolled my eyes and was like, it's not worth it. I still have that other fucking, what is it, the love election thing too. We only went through the Trump route on that one. I don't know if I want to go back to that one. Maybe I will when it's election season again. I don't know. Anyways, gonna go work with what I saw on stream. See ya, Pork. Alright. Good luck with that, Horu. Yeah, I still have no updates on, what is it, What Words Can't Say. I know that one was supposed to be dropping sometime, but I guess, I don't know. I guess with more I guess we're still on the hype of Ashfall, because now we're getting character reveals that are basically just not Trish and not Stella. I don't know. Fear and Hunger 2 with the Gator Olivia mod. Is that even a thing? I dare not touch that game because it's got the 41% fan base behind it, and for obvious reasons, because it contains violence and grapes. Obviously. You know, it's kind of weird. Both games have a wheelchaired character called Olivia. Oh boy. The Ashfall character reveals feel like pandering. Caveman on know their audience. Yeah. Yeah, someone, what's her face? The not Stella character. I feel like no one dresses up like that. I think the only people who dress up like that anymore are probably the 41% who never got to be the goths, who never got their goth scene girlfriend, so they have to be the goth scene girlfriend, you know? I don't think women really dress like that anymore. Maybe being a goth, but definitely not being seen. There's no one who does scene anymore, man. But anyone who's doing that online is probably a dude. The scenes here shouldn't be a problem since they're censored. I mean, Smugfox has 4-hour video of Amorphous. Oh god. But I think you sure he didn't censor that? I didn't watch that because I really don't care about fucking what's his face, JSON effects. He has a very, very, very questionable history. I would not want to hang out with that guy. Just saying, I've heard, well, I shouldn't say heard, there's been record on the farms, man. It seems like he's not a pleasant person to be around. And plus he's rubbed shoulders with, what is it, Rags? I don't like Rags either. Birds of a feather and all that shit. Yeah, I should probably head off. I've wasted like 15 minutes just yapping, and and there's been no substance, so I'm gonna jump off. Tomorrow's stream we'll probably do shooty games. Maybe round up some people. We're gonna be playing, or I'm gonna be playing the Starship Troopers game. We're gonna play Helldivers 2, and then Exoprimal, and we'll see where it goes from there. That's like 3 hours, so who knows how I'll feel, but we'll see. That's censored. I'm only watching it for the lulz. Also, Jason is a groomer. Yeah, I've heard that one. I've read the Kiwi Farms. Thank you for the stream, Pork. Thank you. Fortnite is dying and it's great. I've heard about that. I've been boycotting that since last season because they wouldn't let me log into my account. Save it, go no, damn, I'm late. I don't know. It's just, I do my streams at 5 my time because it works. If I stream any later, I'm tired and I'm yawning because I'm in here, I'm in bed, laying here, doing the voices and chatting, and it makes me tired if I'm doing this too late, you know? I used to do it later. What was it, like 7 o'clock when I was at my desk? I could have done it then, but like I can't really sit anymore, you know. I have to make do. Yeah, I'll catch you guys tomorrow. We'll be playing video, all that shit. Have a good night.